Welcome to the Resolve.ai webinar series. Before we get started, let us quickly go over a few housekeeping items. We love interactive events, so please feel free to ask any question in the Q&A section, which can be accessed at the bottom of your screen. We'll answer those questions towards the end during the Q&A session. If there are more questions than we can answer during the session, we'll get back to you, we promise. This webinar is being recorded, and a recording link will be shared after the event. Thanks again for joining today, and let us get today's session started, and welcome our host.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? Good afternoon, good morning. Thanks for joining. I found this topic to be something that I wanted to talk about for a little bit, and today we are going to talk about it because this is very relevant from the perspective of what we deal with every day as service desk managers, as service desk leader, as shared services leaders in different companies. So in the webinar, first we are going to talk about what kind of resource deficiency we are talking about. Broadly, we have talked about resource deficiency, but exactly what kind of resource deficiency that we are talking about. Couple of things. So we have budget deficiency very clearly. Budget deficiency, all of us are very closely aware with. A lot of us don't have the budget that we want. Every year, it seems when management wants to cut some budget, one of the first places that they come to is service desk and see, hey, you were having $1 million budget. Can we reduce it to 800,000? Can you do the same thing with 800,000 and whatnot? So that obviously is the most clearly the answer, most common answer, which is the resource deficiency. But the second thing is also from the people perspective, right? We do not have enough talent out there from service desk perspective. If you today go out and try to hire a new person, it's not an easy job. The job market is very tight. You might not find the person exactly that you're looking for in the, for example, the time zone that you're looking for or the shift that you want them to work at the price point that you're trying to look. It's not easy either. And third thing that I find, a little bit of deficiency for us is positive attention of management. So what has happened is in last, it's my belief, 10 to 15 years, management has started to look at service desk, which it is as a cost center, but also as something, which can be an issue, but not as a place of inspiration. And therefore, we do not get enough positive attention from the management on this space. The attention is more in terms of how can you reduce the budget, or why are your CSAT not up to the point, or why am I hearing this noise? What are you going to do about the last big incident? Are you meeting your audits? Things of that nature, which is all important things. Not to say that these things are not important, but we seem to be attracting negative attention rather than positive attention, right? And what we have a lot of, by the way, is CSAT struggle is a common struggle. Then resources that we have, attrition of those resources. You have a great person, worked here for 2 years, and then that person is walking away. So those kind of pain point exist for service desk manager. So what is the result? One is we are, if you keep cutting budget for some area, eventually, they're going to keep using the technology that they have, and they're going to try to cut through the, any other fat that you have. And eventually what is going to happen, you're going to go low on innovation. And that is true for many service desks today. Many service desks are running technology which is 5 years old, 10 years old. And there's no appetite to invest in anything new. And therefore, it's a vicious cycle that you are in. Second thing is, like I was alluding to, that service desks are not part of a strategic vision for many organizations now, right? When a CIO or C-level executives are looking at next years, next 5 years, this is not among the top 3 list of things that they are looking at. Although pandemic is now making them look at employee enablement and employee engagement in a different way, I'm not sure that the connection is being made between employee engagement, employee enablement, and service desk. Oftentimes, employee engagement is being branched out as a separate unit, and someone new is taking over as employee engagement. And that's creating even more problems than solving, because what is happening, the person who's supposed to be leading employee engagement actually doesn't have an organization by which they can affect, they don't have an organization by which they're touching everyone, while the service desk is really touching everyone, the shared services, but they are not the one who are actually being handed over the reins for employee engagement. It's interesting, and I find that a little bit of a problem. The third thing, therefore, I think it's leading to a missed opportunity. I've been with service desk for last 20 years, and I do believe that service desk have an opportunity. They have a great opportunity to change their role within the organization, to be more. And that opportunity is being missed in the way that currently the way things are going in most organizations, at least, right? There might be some of your folks here for whom the story is different. But for most organizations, I talk to service desk managers, CIOs every week, multiple times, different organizations. And this is what I'm finding out. And I was really worried about that. Um, so what is the alternative vision? I'm saying this is not a great vision. We are going in the wrong direction. So what is the right vision? So if you think about it, service desk can easily be a place which can be the early adopters of technologies. That means service desk can be the one who can, because they are shared services for everyone, they can be the early adopter of new technology. They can also be, then if they are successful, they can be tech evangelists within the enterprise. They can take this new experiences, share it with other part of the company. And then eventually, in my, this is my vision, at least for service desk, that they can be the automation hub for the enterprise. Think about it. When an enterprise thinks about automating, who are they reaching out to for automation? If they don't have an in-house automation hub, the head of IT typically reaches out to a vendor and says, hey, I want to figure out how to automate. I truly believe that service desk leaders can be in that place where if the organization wants to automate or upgrade their technology or something like that, then service desk can be that space where this revolution begins with, and they become the centerpiece of this change. So that is a broad context of this webinar. But let's talk about how you can achieve this. What are the steps that you can do today if you are already living in a resource deficit environment? What does it mean for you? How can you change the game? What are your strategies going to be to change that game and be someone else, and transform your role and role of your organization within the next let's say 2 years, 1 year or 2 years? To go in that direction, I think first we have to talk about what is happening in service desk context. What is changing? The context is changing, especially post-pandemic. What is changing? So let's to see what is changing. First, let's go revisit the old service delivery model. I called it old or traditional, although many organizations still have it, but it's clearly the one that belongs in history right now. The old model was employee has trouble, employee use emails, phones, or a ticketing system to reach out to service desk. More often than not, We wish they will use ticketing system, but they don't. And they will go to email and phone. Surprisingly here, what is missing is also self-service. We try to create self-service assets, they don't use it. And therefore they reach these service desk agents. And by the way, the service desk also might be multiple. So they are reaching for IT, different person, and HR, different person, and different methods to reach them, and different phone numbers. And it's all fragmented right now. And then once we reach them, then begins the game of back and forth. There might be not enough information in what the user said, then the agent is supposed to go back to them, and the game of back and forth begins, which wastes everyone times, reduces everyone patience, and nobody is left happy. Now, going forward, the context changing is happening is that employees are preferring enterprise service desk. They will rather go to a single place and get directed where to get help, rather than reach different, a uniformity, breaking of silos, if you will. And that's why for many of the people who are here from service desk would already be aware of the term enterprise service management, which is running like wildfire through all the service desk ITSM companies. They're all trying to jump on that bandwagon and say, hey, we are the enterprise service management company. So this is one big trend. The second trend, of course, is that employees are using collaborative tools. So they're using Zoom, they're using Teams, they're using Slack, what have you. This has really changed because many of us were working from home and are perhaps still working from home. And now your best friend is your collaboration tool. I mean, literally, that's the most used tool today. The third change that is happening is that at home, we have started to use AI-based technologies much more than earlier, right? Like you might be talking to a Google Home, you might be talking to Alexa every day to switch on the light in your porch or what have you. So clearly, your conversational interface use has improved, and you kind of expect that it will come everywhere. So these are the 3 or 4 key changes that are happening, which are in turn making a change and forcing a change into service desk delivery model. So the new service desk delivery model, I talked about the old service desk delivery model, but let's talk about the new one. The new one is very simple. You come via the collaboration tool of your choice. It might be Teams. For us, it's a Teams. But for others, it might be Zoom, it might be Slack, it might be anything else. And you go through that tool and you get help, as simple as that, right? And typically the help, the first layer of help comes from, AI, a conversational AI, a chatbot, if you will, a virtual assistant, if you will, which will help you in the first layer of defense. That's the first layer of defense. And then beyond that, you go to a human subject matter expert, right? This chatbot, a virtual assistant, will help you with the knowledge management, will help you with document management, will bring you right documents, can help you reach out to various service desks, not just one. Will help you with any knowledge, any tribal knowledge, anything that you want to know, it will help here. And if it cannot help, it will bring the SME, subject matter expert. And also it can help you automate more things that you are doing. So this is typically the model, for example, in our company, Resolve.ai uses. And there are many other companies like us which are now going this route. The interesting thing here is lack of phone calls, right? You're seeing less phone calls, you're seeing less emails, you are seeing less noise of back and forth that you see traditionally. Just double clicking on this model a little bit, employees talk to a bot and the bot gets additional information if required and auto resolve the issue if possible. So if the bot can give you the right answer, can perform a small task like password reset for you, it will do that. If it cannot do that, it will at the very minimum create a ticket for you and also bring in an expert, right? It will, if required, it will bring a live chat. A person here, an employee here, can chat with an expert here. And this expert can be different. So if you are facing a HR problem, it will suddenly your issue will get routed to HR expert, a payroll expert, whatever it might be, right? So this is the new emerging delivery model. Like I said, interesting things, less phone calls or no phone calls. No, there are companies, by the way, in the world which are running this model with no phone calls. They have stopped giving phone calls to employees. There's no phone number to reach out. You want to reach out to us, you reach out by this, or no emails even in certain cases. So this is how you get help. And by the way, you as users, you always hated going to a ticketing system. So we'll not even take you to a ticketing system. The ticketing system remains invisible from you. So this transformation of the old delivery model to a new service delivery model is happening right now. And knowing what I know, I can tell you, if you have already not seen it in your organization, you are going to be surprised how quickly it is spreading like wildfire throughout the various organizations, small, medium, large, credit unions, educational institute, what have you. They're just changing very, very rapidly. So how does it help? How does it loop back to the discussion around resource crunch, right? Why would adopting this new service delivery model help you with the resource crunch that we are talking about? First, it will reduce the pressure on the help desk, right? Because if you can automate and self-help 30% of the issues or 40% of the issues, suddenly the pressure on service desk reduces. And therefore, you have a breathing room, really. You are not that pressed to hire one more person that you are trying to hire, or figure out how you're going to support the night shift that you really didn't have a game plan for. So you have a better way to deal with that rather than figuring out and living with resource deficit situation. It's almost like you're hiring a virtual person to cover for some of the resource deficit that you already have. The second is, you can do more automation. A lot of these products, including ours, can do a lot of automation that is very budget friendly. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking an old piece of, product. The name, I'm not going to name, but there are plenty of these old fashioned ticketing system. You replace them, you put a new one, cost almost the same. But now you can automate a whole lot of things, right? You're providing enterprise knowledge management, you're providing a whole lot of automation, and this is not coming from net new budget. You're pretty much give or take, you're pretty much in the same budget, but you are now able to automate more without even adding more budget. So that's how it is, and you're introducing new technology in the old environment. Similarly, it helps you because now suddenly your C-level executives, your leadership team is looking at the service desk and saying, wow, the service desk is really changing. And this is, by the way, the interesting part about service desk is everyone notices, right? You do something right, everyone will get to note it because everyone touches the service desk. I mean, I don't go a week or 2 week without actually needing some kind of help. It might be small help, it might be big help, it doesn't matter. But I need some or the other help from the service desk. So people notice and senior management notices. So the game changes a little bit. Instead of having on the back foot and defending all the time, your numbers and your metrics, your suddenly blow up of some user or some VIP. Now you're actually having a different conversation with the C-level executives, and you're talking about how you are actually introducing new technology. You are changing the game, so to say. Another term, by the way, if you have not seen this term, please know that we kind of coined this term called Teamsification or Teamsify, which essentially mean you're taking all this knowledge and service desk and process automation and task automation and bringing it to Teams. Why on Teams? We already discussed that because Teams is where the users are. Users are not today on intranet, for example, right? They don't go to intranet that often. As a matter of fact, many intranet are today dead, dead places because nobody goes there, right? Similarly, document management, right? Another place where a lot of people don't go there. I mean, it's a place we wish a lot of people will go, but nobody seems to have patience to go read a full document to find the answer to their question. So the place where employees are is changing, and the place where employees are is Teams. Therefore, it makes sense to bring new automation, new process simplification right in Teams. Why would you do it somewhere else? So we call this process Teamsification. So for example, you can Teamsify your surveys. You can send employee surveys on Teams. You can, change in a policy, no problem. Inform them via Teams. You are onboarding a new employee, fantastic. You can do it all on Teams. You are changing some process. You want to inform people about it. Manage your change management via Teams. You can have approval cycles built within Teams. You can have, of course, your help desk and service desk within Teams. So this transition to Teams is a big thing which is happening right now. And this is something that service desk, in my opinion, will lead. Service desk are going to lead this, but it doesn't stop with service desk. It goes beyond service desk. Eventually, what you're going to see that employees are going to do all of the above in Teams or Slack for that matter. They are going to learn. That means the learning is going to happen via Teams. They're going to create and share knowledge via Teams. They're going to accomplish everyday tasks like booking a meeting or booking a conference room via Teams. When they need help, they're going to get that help via Teams. Obviously, they're already collaborating via Teams, but they can also now do automation via Teams, right? These are the kind of things which are happening today and possible today, which were not possible even 3 years ago. And post-pandemic, these things are really taking a different dimension. So broadly speaking, we talked about, how the resource deficiency exists today, what is the cause of it, and how it can, in my humble opinion, if we continue going down that path, how it goes downhill. Then we talked about what are changes that are environmental changes around us that are making it right for a change. The change is ripe right now. And third, we talked about what is this new model that you can adopt that will help you change the game a little bit. If you look at again at the bigger picture, if we go again to the bigger picture is you can have a 3-step process, if you will, right? And this we build actually by watching some service desk manager do this over the last couple of years. And so this is not a theory, but we have seen different service desk actually leaders take this opportunity and do this. So step number 1, change your own service desk. Everyone, the change needs to begin at home, right? So everyone needs to figure out how they are going to change their service desk, how they can be, show that innovation right here. And you need to make it successful, right? Your own transformation needs to be successful, goes without saying. Because if your own transformation fails, then you're in bigger trouble. So if your own transformation is successful, then you have already proved to your organization that there's a new model, there's an AI driven model. It's not so difficult, it's possible. We can bring a bunch of task automation on Teams. We can really take next generation automation, and we can do all that without paying an arm and a leg there, right? We can do it with limited amount of cost. So that's the one piece. Second piece is show this to all stakeholders. And this is the really easy part because, being a service desk, everyone is going to notice, like I said earlier. So that is not so difficult. If you're successful here, this is going to create ripples in your organization and everyone is going to notice this. The second piece, once you are successful here, is the expansion a little bit, right? So for example, think of employee onboarding. Employee onboarding is a area which is pain point for everyone. I mean, I generally don't like to say sentences which are absolute, but employee onboarding, oh my God, like it's almost everyone is pained by that part and nobody seems to have figured out the complete solution. I mean, there are technologies, but still everyone seems to be unhappy with it. So, take employee onboarding, for example, and automate that and bring that to Teams. Now, this is not completely IT because user provisioning part is IT, but employee onboarding completely is not IT. But you can go ahead and offer that and do that. We have seen people do this. And then once you have 1 or 2 more success stories, which might go beyond IT help desk, at that point of time, you are on a roll because you have proved to the management that not only you can automate your own part, but now you can automate a little bit more and not automate, but improve, simplify, induce a little bit of AI. And finally, I have seen a few success stories where they were able to transform their role and the role of the service desk from being just a service desk to a shared services hub for automation. It's a shared services COE on AI and automation. And that transformation is fairly amazing to watch because what you did was you started from a place where, service desk was the bad guy, so to say. And then you transformed not only the service desk, but you went ahead and then brought this change and become a leader or an agent for change for the entire company. And that transformation really, at that point of time, the internal leaders come and ask the service desk managers about, what should we be doing next? Where is the next automation? Do you have the right skill set to do this project or that project? And that is pretty amazing, and it is not far-fetched at all. From the senior leadership perspective, it is great because they're getting a better automated service desk at the very minimum, right? So their quest for, trying to get more by less works, right? I mean, they should be pretty happy. Second, they are now creating AI and automation expertise in-house, which is pretty amazing too. Even for mid-sized companies, right? 2,000 people company, 700 people company, 250 people company. It's pretty amazing to have some level of expertise in-house instead of just reaching out all the time. And the third is obviously everyone benefits. There's a employee productivity boost that pretty much everyone will get. That's a great boost. And finally, you end up in a more efficient, enterprise. We have a term called enterprise friction, which denotes how difficult, what is the level of difficulty that employees have when they're trying to get something done, whether it's to get day-to-day tasks, you're trying to find an answer to a question, it might be anything. But when you're trying to do your work, the amount of resistance and friction you get from your environment is enterprise friction. And by the way, service desk is definitely part of the solution in that. So these are the kind of solutions you have. Before we go to Q&A, I just wanted to give you the glimpse, because I've talked to you about in theory, but I wanted to give you a glimpse of how products like these look. At least our product looks like, how you, for example, automate user provisioning, and how you can automate typical IT help desk issues and so on and so forth. All this is in Teams. This is all happening in Teams, and it's pretty amazing what you can automate and how you get service. This small app here in Teams is what is providing you all the support. And of course, sitting behind this in the back end, is a complete service desk product, which is AI-driven service desk. But it makes your life very easy from the end user perspective, and even as a service desk perspective. And you are really, for the same service desk, you're changing the game in the service desk industry. That being said, I think we are towards the Q&A, and I think we kind of are at a 30-minute mark. See if there are any questions out there from anyone. No questions yet. Well, I think we might be able to wrap up a little bit early. I want to thank everyone who joined. Hopefully this was useful, because I wanted to give a different perspective of what a service desk can do, and how do you handle with the resource deficit environment that we are all dealing with day in and day out. This is an alternative approach to how to deal with it. I want to thank, I have a question. Is it possible for you to demo some of the functionality? We have 15 minutes. So anyone who wants to hang around, they can hang around, and I can show you some of the functionality. So the functionality are really, really simple, right? Like, what do people do when they come to service desk? When they come to service desk, all they're trying to do is to get answer to their question, which is around 20 to 30% of the time. They're trying to check where their tickets are, what happened to my ticket. They're trying to figure out answers, get some tasks done. Those are the different kind of things that you want to learn. So for example, if I just show you a few things, if it says, Manish, how can I help you today, right? So it already knows my name, it's in my Teams, it recognizes me. If I say, I want to, how do I schedule meetings from Teams? Let's say this is what I'm trying to do. So there's the question, and there's a bot and AI which goes and finds the right answer. The answer is in the database in the product, and goes and finds the right answer. And here you go. The answer in this case happens to be a GIF. So it is going and showing me the GIF on what the answer is. So it's a much more pleasant and quick experience as opposed to I'm trying to figure something out. I'll either Google it or I'll call my help desk and make a phone call. And it's a 3-minute phone call where they're trying to explain to me what to do. And by the way, they might get like 5 other calls like this every day, right? So much simpler way to kind of handle it. Someone is saying they cannot see the demo screen. I apologize. Hold on. Let me share again. Is this, can you see the demo screen now? I apologize. I had shared only, looks like I shared only the presentation, but hopefully you can see the demo that I was trying to show you. So this is, for example, a demo of us setting up a new employee. This is someone who's trying to onboard a new employee. The bot takes some basic information, allows you to select a persona. You select the persona. I'll show you this demo as well if you're interested. Oh, there, the comments is lighting up. There's a lot of people who are commenting right now. Okay, bear with me, everyone. I'm going to show you some more. So this is the piece that I was trying to show. How do I schedule meetings from Teams? And this was the answer that I was talking about, right? So the bot goes, finds an answer, and just I can see the GIF instead of someone just talking to me. Really simple. It of course creates the ticket in the backend at any point of time. If I say, how do I submit Uber expenses, right? This is something hopefully all of us will be traveling soon again, and we'll have Uber expenses. And then we'll be asking this question, where do I submit Uber expenses? Here you go, it gives me the answer, and which is fantastic. It shows me the answer and I'm good. But it can do more than that too. So for example, if you go forward and say, do you want to do anything else? Yes, I want to do anything else. For example, if I say, let's say I just say Outlook issues, for example, right? Some people write a lot, some people don't write too much. Let's say I just say Outlook issues. It shows me some options of the kind of Outlook issues that might have. And I just click on this, and it says, sorry to hear that. It tries to empathize with me and tries to offer me some kind of triaging, basic triaging, the L1 triaging. Try this, did it work? Try that, did it work, right? And I'm being a difficult customer, so I'm like, no, it's not working for me at all. So it says, okay, you know what? I'm going to create a ticket for you. So it seeks some additional information from me so that it can create a ticket that is complete in nature, and then it goes and creates that ticket, right? And now I can give additional information, etc., and it created. And by the way, it offers for me to chat with someone. So if I click on this button, I can actually chat with someone in the backend right now who will help me in real time if that was an option. So this is a different kind of service delivery model than most of us are used to for last 10 years, which is so much phone-based, etc., right? The other example that I wanted to show you was this employee onboarding piece, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So for example, if you say, set up a new employee, this is the piece that I was trying to show you. And let's say you want to do user provisioning in this particular case. It's not a complete HR onboarding, but let's say, and I'm going to pick up a name from some of the people who are interested. So I'm going to go with Tommy. Okay, should I be using names? Okay, I'm just going to use Tommy as a first name, and I'm going to use Sharma, which is last name. It's Tommy Sharma, and I'm going to say California, and let's say start date of 20th, and you start it, and you go here, and there's a question here. Someone has asked me, well, can it create tickets? Yes, it is a complete service desk solution, right? Which has everything. Let's say there's the marketing persona that I want to onboard this person, and the marketing person in this organization gets these four Marketo, Box, Zoom, these are access that they get, and these are the things. The funny thing is, you would think that it's just creating tickets right now, right? You are thinking that it will go and create tickets with these details. Of course it will, but it is going to do more than that. It is going to go to these applications, like it will go to Zoom, and it will go to Office 365, and it will go to Marketo. If given the right access, it will go actually create the profiles in those systems, right? How cool is that? So for example, it can go here. I don't know if it already did it. Let me check with this theoretical person, Tommy Sharma, if already there or not. Not yet, looks like. It takes sometimes maybe 10 seconds or so, but it will go and create the profile for that person in the wherever you are automated it to be. Since you had a question, by the way, you can build approval cycles in it and stuff like that. Since someone had a question, I'm checking the comment section regularly, so feel free to comment any question. There's a knowledge base which the chatbot refers to when answering any questions. So there's very simple, the chatbot is basically powered by this knowledge base. And let's look at the ticket management, because someone asked, does it really create a ticket, right? There you go. These are the tickets which have been created by the system. It's a full-fledged ticketing system. It has its own analytics. It has its own reports, SLA management, all that good stuff that you can imagine. And it also has live chat functionality and so on and so forth. I mean, going back to the whole point about, this webinar was resource deficit environment, right? Now, once I put this demo in front of you, hopefully you can see how you can reduce the pressure on the service desk employees, and you can literally light a fire in the organization in terms of, listen, service desk is changing. I'm introducing new technologies, and I'm literally being a flag bearer for the change in the organization. And that really transform, in our opinion and in our experience, the role that people have seen of what the traditional service desk does and what the traditional service desk leaders do. Well, it was a very short demo. I know it was one of the shortest demo I've done. Feel free to book a demo with us anytime. I'm available. Either me or one of my colleagues will do a full demo for you anytime you want. But I want to thank everyone who are here and stayed with me through the webinar to go through this demo. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Hopefully this was of some value to you. Thank you and have a great day ahead.